Hey, 6th grade. I just wanted to hop on here really quick and go over our lesson 25 for Bible. Bible class is definitely my absolute favorite to teach, and it makes me so sad that I cannot do Bible class to you guys. I love the discussion. I love hearing your questions. I love hearing your opinions. It's probably my absolute favorite class of the day to teach, and I really, really, really miss teaching it to you guys. But today, according to your lesson plans, you should be starting lesson 25, Christ-like attitudes. Now, what's really cool about this lesson is it's over Matthew chapter 5, which, if you remember, the very beginning of the school year, these were our first memory verses. These were the first, I'm pretty sure, the first ones that you guys memorized. The blessed are the poor in spirit, for the king, theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. All those blesseds that we learned at the beginning of the school year for your memory verses, we're going to be talking about those in depth in this lesson, okay? So in your vocabulary, it goes ahead and it tells you what those words mean. So a common name for Matthew chapter 5 is called the Beatitudes. A lot of times if you hear a message on Matthew chapter 5, they'll be like, hey, we're going over the Beatitudes, okay? Because in here it lists all the things that all the attitudes that we should take on as a person. So let's look at your vocab section. You should be open to page 123 in your lesson 25. There's a vocabulary section, and it says Beatitude, a statement concerning perfect blessedness or happiness. So that's just the list of these verses, Beatitudes. It's not actually in the verses. It's just what we call this specific chapter. Okay? First one, it says, poor in spirit, being emptied of selfish desires and being filled with Christ's desires. Okay, poor in spirit means you're not being selfish, basically. Okay, mourn, to feel deep sorrow. Mourn is when you're sad over a loss. So if a loved one dies, or you lose a really good friendship, or your pet dies, or something you're really sad over a loss. Okay, meek, humble and patient. We talked about meek being humble. That means not full of pride, not thinking better of yourself, but realizing, okay, I'm a child of God, but I can do nothing without God. Humble, realizing you're not top dog, okay? Hunger and thirst for righteousness, a great desire to become more like Christ, okay? So hunger and thirst for righteousness, that means you want to become more like Jesus, okay? You care more about becoming like Jesus than you do learning a new TikTok dance or showing off your new video game to your friends, whatever, okay? So I know those are weird examples, but you, more than anything, want to become like Christ, okay? Merciful, without holding harm from someone who is guilty of an offense, okay? Mercy, you show mercy. Someone does you wrong, but you choose not to react or not to treat them wrongly or not to punish them. You show mercy. So we sinned, and punishment for sin is death, but God showed mercy and sent Jesus to die for us, to take our punishment of death. And all we have to do is accept that. That's mercy, okay? God sending Jesus to die in our place so that we don't have to die for our sins. Pure in heart, having thoughts and attitudes that are clean and unhypocritical. Okay, pure in heart, that means you have good motives, okay? Your motives behind what you do are good, okay? So let's say that it is, who do I want to pick on? I like picking on you guys. Let's say it is Ireland's birthday, and so Andrea thinks, I'm going to bring in Ireland a present because she is my friend and I love her and I want to celebrate her birthday. Okay, her motives are pure in heart. She wants to do something nice for her friend. Let's say me, Miss Heffler, I'll make me the bad guy. I come in and I say, I'm going to give an Ireland a present, but it's mostly because I just want her to think that I'm the best teacher and I'm better than the other teachers. And that's the only reason I'm doing it, is to make myself look good. Okay, that's not pure in heart. That's not good motives, okay? Andrea has good motives because she said, I'm bringing an Ireland present because she's my friend and I love her and I want to make her happy on her birthday. I said, okay, what am I going to get out of this? I'm going to get being the favorite, or maybe she'll bring me a present on my birthday, okay? That's the difference. Good motives, selfish motives. Pure in heart means that you have the good motives, you're doing it for the right reason and not for yourself. Peacemakers, those who want men to be at peace with God and others. Okay, Miss Gill talked to you guys about this when we were having our little trouble with being nice to each other. Miss Gill talked about this. Okay, be the person who's like, hey, we're not going to say mean things about each other. We're going to be nice, be kind, be the peacemaker. The person who instead of instigating and causing more trouble, you're the person who says, okay, let's have peace. Let's be kind to each other. The next one is persecuted for the sake of righteousness, injured or attacked for being like Christ. So we don't face a whole lot of this in America, but I don't know, maybe there's definitely people in America who have faced this, but it's not a huge problem as much as it is in other countries, okay? Injured or attacked for being like Christ, okay? So in some countries, it's illegal to be a Christian, and if they find out that you're a Christian, they will kill you, or they will beat you up, or torture you, you know what I'm saying? But it's not to that point in America yet, but you could be verbally hated on, or made fun of, or maybe even beat up a little, but we're not really to that extreme point yet. But here it's saying is taking a stand for Christ and someone attacking you for that, okay? And you know what? Verbally attack, that's persecution, okay? It's not persecution in the sense that we normally think of, but verbal attack and being hate on, that's persecution for Christ, because it hurts your feelings. It doesn't make you feel great. But those are the different Beatitudes that they talk about here. Okay, so the next lesson says learning from Christ's teachings. Many times in God's Word, Christ teaches us how to deal with circumstances and how to respond to others. One of the best and most beautiful examples is found in the first portion of Sermon on the Mount. Okay, Beatitudes, Sermon on the Mount, they're the same thing, which is called, which is called the Beatitudes. Read Matthew 5, 1 through 12. These are sometimes called the Beatitudes because they relate not so much to what Christ wants us to do, our actions, but what he wants us to be, our attitudes. Okay, so these are not necessarily actions that we can do like, oop, yep, I was poor in spirit today, or I was peacemaker today, check. Okay, these are attitudes that we take on, that we live our whole life by. These are attitudes that should be all of them, everyday things that we live by. Complete the following chart using the statements Christ gave concerning to be blessed, truly happy in Matthew 5. Okay, so on the left, you have the Christ-like attitude, and on the right, you have the promise. So what our attitude should be and what happens if we have that attitude, okay? So the first one, it says Matthew 5:3. So Matthew 5:3 says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So under Christ-like attitude, you would write poor in spirit, and promise is the kingdom of heaven, okay? So the first part, you're taking the attitude that we are to be like, and the second column is the promise. Okay, so 5:4, it says, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. So the Christ-like attitude is mourning, and the promise is we'll be comforted. Okay, so I want you to do that chart on 123 and 124. Okay, fill in that chart with the attitude and the promise. You guys should be able to do that. It's pretty broken up for you simply in that chapter. Okay, our life principle. Christ wants us to look at his life and help us learn how to respond to life situations for ourselves. How did Christ respond to those closest to him, his disciples? Okay, so you're going to look up those verses and read the verses and then put how Christ responded. So let's do the first one together. It's Matthew 13, 10 to 11. Okay, so get out your Bibles and turn to Matthew 13, 10 and 11. It's the first book of the New Testament. Giving you time to turn there. It says, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Okay? So, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Okay, so Jesus is telling a parable to the people, and the disciples are like, why are you speaking in parables? Like, why not just tell them straight up? And Jesus says, it's given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but them is not given. So Jesus had a close relationship with the disciples to where he felt he could tell them things that he could not tell other people. Okay, and then it says Mark 6. Oh no, my computer's frozen. Mark 6, 47 to 51. Okay, and when the even was come, evening, the ship, it was in the midst of the sea, and he alone on the land. And he saw them toiling and rowing, for the wind was contrary unto them. And about the fourth watch of the night he cometh unto them, walking upon the sea, and would have passed by them. When they saw him walking upon the sea, they supposed it had been a spirit, and cried out. For they all saw him and were troubled. And immediately he talked with them, and saith unto them, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And he went up to them into the ship, and the wind ceased, and they were sore amazed in themselves beyond measure and wonder. So the disciples were out on the sea, and Jesus was on the land looking at them, and he sees that the waves are kind of picking up, the wind was going against them. It's starting to get a little rough on the sea, and Jesus starts walking on the water. Okay, walking on the water to disciples, and he's like, it's just me. They're like freaking out. They think he's like some ghost or spirit on the water coming to get them. They're like, okay. So, but then Jesus is like, hey, it's just me. It's Jesus. And he calms the waves and the sea. That's the same thing. The sea and the wind. He calms the waves and the wind. And he hops in the boat and is like, hey, I'm here. It's all good. I calmed it. I'm here. It's not some ghost or whatever. And the disciples were like, whoa, that's cool. Just walked on water, then got everything to calm down and just hopped in our boat. Like, they think that's so cool. So, in that blank for Matthew 3, 10, 11, and Mark 6, 47, 51, you should have two answers, okay? He had a close relationship with the disciples because he told things to them they didn't tell other people. That was in the Matthew. And then in Mark, he comforted them when they were afraid. Okay, they were afraid of the ocean going crazy. The wind and the waves were picking up. They were afraid of, they thought they saw a spirit walking on the water. But Jesus comforted them. He said, hey, it's me. It's all good. You're fine. Don't be afraid. So it's those two things. Close relationship, tells things to them. He doesn't tell to other people. And he comforted them when they were afraid. So there's two reactions there that Jesus had to the disciples. So, and then the next one says, how did Christ respond to those who refused to believe in him? So you look up Matthew 13, 53 to 58, write the answer of how Christ responded. So you can do that for all of them. Okay, and then let me look at your plans. Okay, so the Learning from Christ Life, the one we just did, that's tomorrow's work. So you don't even have to worry about that today. I'm going through the whole thing today, and then you can come back to this video and go through the section that you need to on the day that you need to. But I'm just making one Bible video for the whole lesson kind of thing. And then on Friday, you have 125, running your race. This is your journal, okay? I want you to submit a picture of your journal on Friday via Dojo when you're done so that I can see your journal, because I will give you a journal grade. Okay, so page 125, because today and tomorrow you'll be doing 123 and 124. So today you have the Learning from Christ teachings chart. Tomorrow you have Learning from Christ life response to fill out, and then Friday you have the winning your race. And when you're finished with your running your race journal, I want you to take a picture of it on your device and send it to me via Dojo so that I can give you a journal grade. And then also for Friday you have the quiz to take. So that's why I kind of wanted to go over these sections with you so you would know how to fill it out so you could do well on your quiz. I'll tell you now. A lot of your questions come from your vocab. but not all of them. So, question 10 is found in one of the paragraphs, okay? It tells you the name of the sermon, so don't just guess on number 10. In one of the paragraphs, okay, it tells you the name of the sermon, so don't just guess. You're going to have to read for that one. All right? These are really good attitudes for you to take on in life, okay? Meek, merciful, pure in heart, peacemaker. Okay, those are good attributes to have as people, especially people who want to follow after Christ, okay? So really take your time and go over these well. I really miss Bible discussion. Maybe we can set up something later to do a good Bible discussion, but I really miss teaching Bible to you guys, and I hope that you really latch on to this lesson. I was excited to teach it, and I'm sad that we don't get to be in class for it, but I know you guys will do great, okay? So, on Friday, make sure you shoot me a picture of the Winning Your Race journal that you do, okay? And I will grade that and turn in your packets for Monday. I just want your 2 quizzes, your lesson 24 quiz and your lesson 25 quiz, and then on Dojo, I want a picture of Winning Your Race journal for me to see. Let me know if you have any questions, or if, like, hey, you don't understand one of the topics discussed, or you have any questions about the Bible or Jesus. You know, I love talking about that with you guys. So feel free to shoot me a message about the lesson, or if it's any question you have about the Bible at all, I would love to talk about it, okay? So feel free to shoot me a message, or in your packet, remember I put I wish my teacher knew that page, okay? So you can feel free to write a question there if you want me to answer that. I'd love to get little notes from you guys on those pages of questions you have, or just anything you want to say. I would love that. I hope you guys enjoy this Bible lesson, and I'll see you next week. Okay, I forgot to mention this, so I turned the video off, but I wanted to say that I am praying for you guys, and I love you. And if you have any prayer requests, write them on that I wish my teacher knew that sheet, and I will put your prayer requests up on our March Madness board, okay? So any prayer requests that you want me to pray about, or a class to pray about, and if you don't want it to go up on the prayer board, you can say, hey, I want to keep this between me and you. That's cool too. But if you don't care, that I'll put it up on our prayer board and we can pray over it. I don't want you guys to forget that important part. So I meant to say that and I didn't, but I wanted to add a little clip on the end to remind you that I am praying for you, and if you have anything you want me to pray about, let me know. Okay, bye, for real this time.